For our next keynote, we'll be hearing from Karl Andersson, co-founder and CEO of Matsmart-Motatos.
Food waste is a $1 trillion planetary problem. 1/3 of everything produced is never eaten, but lost or wasted. How can e-commerce help build a planet that has the ability to bounce back? How we take care of our resources is key.
We need to take care of the things we have already produced. I mean, everything else is just plain insane.
Consumers are turning to sustainable choices, but it has to be fun and affordable. We need to reform our food system, and for that, we need solutions that can scale. To a business like ours, growth means impact.
Motatos is of course a company, but it's also a movement.
Motatos.
Please welcome to the stage Karl Andersson, co-founder and CEO of Matsmart-Motatos. Karl will be interviewed by Shoptalk's Vice President of Content, Laszlo.
Good morning, Karl. Thank you so much for joining us in Retail's Playground.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I loved the opening video. It's a great introduction to your company and what you do. You've been in Sweden since 2014. Remind me the other countries that Motatos operates in today.
So we're in 6 markets today. So we're in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, so the Nordics, and then of course Germany, and the UK, and now Austria.
Congratulations on Austria and in the UK last year. So the way I summarize what Motatos does is you specialize in selling food products that are overstocked, close to expiration, or a little off, a little eccentric, right? My favorite example is you use the example of like when a pasta factory switches from making gluten pasta to gluten-free pasta. There's some pasta that comes out of the machine that's sort of in between. It's neither one or the other.
Ish gluten-free.
Gluten-ish pasta, gluten-free-ish pasta. And so obviously the manufacturer can't necessarily sell that. It's perfectly good pasta. And so you kind of help find a market for those sorts of products. I think it's fascinating. So I've got 2 questions to kick off our conversation. And the first one is, what's your motivation? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for asking that. I mean, of course, watching this movie, of course, already tells you all of that. But the problem today is that 1/3 of everything being produced is actually being thrown away. So we need to change the food system. And we very much would like to partner up and help the big brand owners and suppliers of the world to help them solve the challenges around food waste. So that's the big thing that we're trying to do, and that's why we're doing this. All of this started actually in a normal supermarket. So there are 3 of us, and one of us had a supermarket store where he saw good things going to waste and being super frustrated, of course, about this. If you have a supermarket store, you would like to sell, not throw things away, right?
Not run out, yep.
So when his suppliers came up to him and said, I have a problem with this Christmas soda, and this was springtime, and can you help me out a bit? He, of course, said, absolutely. I'll buy everything you have, but I will only pay you 1/3 of what you're asking. And they tried it out, and it worked really well. So Eric tried on more and other kind of different or out of seasonal goods and so on. And the effect was that the frequency really went up, but there were a few unexpected things. The average order dropped and so on. So the arena was not maybe the right one. Mm-hmm. And we transformed this into an e-commerce. And there were 3 things we saw doing that. The first thing we saw was that food waste is, of course, nothing local in a supermarket store, hidden in Sweden. This is, of course, a global problem and one of our time's biggest problems, actually. And to that, we also saw that everyone likes a good deal or a bargain. And finishing off, we saw that food online was about to happen. So we said to ourselves, if we combine these three into one business idea, we will have something super strong going for us. So that we did. And now we saved 60,000 tons of food that would otherwise be thrown away.
It's amazing. It's a great stat. So my second introductory question, though, is what's the most eccentric or interesting or odd product you've stocked over the years?
I mean, there have been many really weird ones. I think one that I define the most weird is the sparkling water flavored with chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my feeling too. Yeah.
Interesting theory by some guy at some water manufacturer.
It was some creative meeting.
But you found a market for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere wanted that water.
We sold a full gym hall of that crazy water, and people came back for more.
So let's start by talking about your shoppers, your Motatos customers. I love your impact reports. I think they're a corporate report done in the most friendly, readable, enjoyable. Like your corporate voice is so nice. But you talk about your shoppers as being a mix of bargain hunters and climate heroes. And I wonder, is one or the other of those two groups more important for you? And like, are they actually different groups, or are they one and the same?
Thanks. I mean, first of all, we would never have grown to this size if we only were a hard discount counter online. So we need to tell the story, and that's very much what excites our customers. That we're doing something good and we're doing it to a bargain, right? And it's very hard to resist that. I think that's the first thing. And I mean, to that, we also have a very wide spectrum of customers. Mm-hmm. So on one hand, we have the ones that are buying from us simply because we're doing something good for the environment or for the planet, right? And on the other hand, we have the ones that are on a budget or looking for a deal or the bargain, right? The bargain hunters. And in the middle, we have the families, maybe on a budget, but definitely want to do something good for the environment. So that's very much how our customers view us, and also how we would like to tell the story around this.
Does your marketing balance that too? Like kind of good for the planet, good for your wallet? Do you mix those two messages in your marketing, or do you have like some campaigns focus on one, other campaigns focus on the other?
No, we always tell the story together because we think that is the strongest message. So what we try to bring across is affordable sustainability. We very much believe it's hard to do good these days. To do something good, you need to own a Tesla, have solar panels, buy organic.
Right.
Yeah.
Environmental consciousness is sort of associated with a certain socioeconomic class.
Yeah, exactly. And we try to democratize things. Mm-hmm. So we invite them to buy things, cheap food online, and every bite they get into it, they save the world. Yeah. So democratizing things, I think.
Great. On top of all of that, the other thing I love about Motatos is you kind of use words like excitement and joy and even weird to describe grocery shopping. And I don't think most of us would think of our weekly grocery shop as like a moment of excitement or joy. How do you convince consumers that finding the unexpected thing, these serendipitous, like, I never knew I liked chocolate sparkling water, but hey, I'll give it a go. Like, how do you convince them that should be the way they think about their food shopping?
Yeah, but first of all, this is the most exciting thing about us, or part about us, and I probably will say that a couple of times. But so first, I mean, the cool thing is when you enter the site, you will always find something new, since we're buying things that are, have some kind of challenges, right? So our assortment is ever changing. So every day you have something new, and on the site we have roughly 1,000 SKUs. And if you compare that to a normal retailer or food retailer, you maybe have 12,000 for a small one and, 50, 30,000 more, right? So that gives our customers an exciting assortment on a very short period of time, which creates massive FOMO. So when they see this Coca-Cola or this, sparkling water tasting chocolate, then they just need to buy it at that time.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's
And when they then come out, going into the store, they were probably looking for a few things. Did they find them? Maybe, I hope so. But did we excite them? And did we, give them a good experience? Most definitely.
That's great. How regularly do your customers shop you? I imagine it's not necessarily the weekly, week in and week out shopping, but yeah, what's the frequency look like?
Yeah, so we have customers coming to us every day, scrolling the site, seeing
just to
what's
see
on
that,
sale.
that bargain, get it now, or you're going to miss it kind of opportunity. Yep.
And maybe those ones buy on weekly basis, but and then we have on the other spectrum again the ones that buys us once to a year. But I mean, the average customers maybe 4 to 6 times a year, say. So maybe your normal outlet or something like.
Yeah, and then the last thing I wanted to ask around kind of the shopper end of things is just around loyalty. I think whoever you are, if you're in the grocery or food business, kind of getting people to be loyal to you, to come back, whether it's 4 times a year or once a week. Are there particular programs you have in place or tactics you've succeeded with to kind of make your customers loyal?
Yeah, so we do everything you expect. So we have the app, the loyalty program, the customer offerings. I mean, all of this, right? We do everything we can. And on top of that, we do once or twice or a couple of times a year, we tell them, what kind of fantastic heroes they are, what mission they are out there together with us doing. And once a year, we actually give them a report. This is how much you are part of saving the world. So that's one thing.
Individualized to the specific shop.
Yeah. But what I very much would like to say is that what we try hardest is to give them that experience that we are trying to sell, right? The fun, the exciting things, all of that. So every day we're all kind of vacuum cleaning the problems of the world and trying to bring in excitement to the store. Yeah. So that's very much what we're doing.
That's great. Let's shift and talk briefly about your relationship with your suppliers, because you do talk about them as being sort of customers too, as much as the shopper is. Given how specialized a lot of your products are, how much is this like human relationships, like somebody at Motatos kind of goes up to somebody at a supplier and kind of talks with them about their overstock and their unusual products, versus how much are you able to automate that through a digital marketplace or something like that?
But first of all, I think it's pretty hard being a brand owner, a producer these days. There are so many regulated things you need to steer towards and keep in mind. On top of that, you also need to take care of your waste and all of this. So we very much would like to partner up with them and to solve and help solving the problems with food waste. So that's the first thing. But we very much see that we have 2 sets of customers. We have our own, the normal households, and we have the producers and the brand owners. And I mean, the ones that come to us are the biggest of the world. So I mean, Nestle, Coca-Cola, Unilever, all of these, right? And I mean, we also, like, together with them, we are trying to tell the story for our customers of how they are doing a good job and they are being climate heroes and saving the world together. So we are very much, all of us, in this as a community.
That's great, right? Because if I'm a Unilever and Nestle, I might be a little hesitant about releasing some of these more eccentric or not so successful products anywhere. So I feel like it's probably part of the story that your job is convincing them that this is good for the brand, not a negative for the brand.
Thanks, yeah, exactly. We bring very much transparency to the game, right? Mm-hmm. Because everything that is on our site has some kind of challenge, or there is a reason to why it's there. So our suppliers need to be brave. Mm-hmm. But we all need to be brave to actually face these things and do something good for the environment.
Yeah. Motatos has recently rolled out private label products. Congratulations on that. That's really cool. It kind of helps. Whoa.
Wow.
Helps encourage your customers to come back more regularly if they maybe know that they can always get the tomato sauce or whatever. How has that changed your relationship with your suppliers? Are any of them feeling like you're going to buy less of like their slightly weird tomato sauce if you're selling your own?
No, but again, it's a partnership, right? So we do all of this. We do very much together with our suppliers. But just to get a bit more of that, I'd say that we asked our customers, how we could ease their shopping more, how can they find more at our site and so on. And they needed to find more, be able to rely a bit more on us, so they could find pasta every time they come into the store. So we actually needed to the times when the pasta brands don't have these kind of problems, we have our own brand kind of filling those kind of gaps, so our customers always get their box and can order what they like.
I think that's smart. A filling the gap sort of story definitely probably helps.
But as you mentioned around the saved assortment, I mean, we had two sets of lines. So we have one that is kind of complementary for our assortment, and we also have the one that have saved assortment. So those are
so saved is where you're taking produce that would otherwise go to waste and kind of finding ways to make FMCG products out of that. So you're saving perishable goods in addition to saving FMCG goods, right? I think that's really cool.
Exactly.
And there's companies like Misfits Market in the United States kind of got their start as a grocery retailer online focused on produce. So you can get slightly weird shaped carrots or kind of other produce that may not find a home in a supermarket kind of delivered to you. That seems like a challenging business from making the economics of shipping perishable goods around work. Is that something you guys have looked at doing?
But of course, I mean, being a founder and having a lot of ideas, of course, I would like to take care of frozen and fresh and all of this, but it's such a different business because then you need the cooling and all of that, because everything that we sell is simply dry goods. So pasta, rice, soft drinks, and so on. So, I mean, it's a huge leap to move to something like that.
Yeah, for sure. So last thing I want to talk about is just kind of making your model work. And one of my big questions there is just around how good you are at forecasting demand. You've got a product that maybe has never existed before, is brand new, is a new SKU or product that you're adding to your line. How good are you at setting the market clearing price that's going to make sure that your warehouses are empty, your customers are happy, and your bottom line is successful?
Yeah, I mean, we've been now doing this since 2014. In the beginning, we used our gut to, and formal knowledge from other kind of stores to deal with these problems. But today we have systems that kind of support us. How much did we sell from this goods the last time it was on sale, and similar things have been on our site and so on. So we use super much we have BI tools kind of telling us all the stories that we need to know to give you the best deal.
It's fantastic. I feel like it's always going to be a combination of technology and human expertise. And one of the things I found fascinating too is just the nature of your products means you have to do a lot of manual work just to add them to your product information management system, get them on the site, like taking photographs and things like that. Are there ways you're finding to use technology to streamline that?
Yeah. So first of all, this is the part where we are most disruptive. This is where we differs to others. So we buy whatever their problem might be, and we bring it to our warehouse. We photo it. We tell the story of why it's there, and also how you should buy it, how you should use it, and all of that. So we do very much manual work. But then we also have the exciting thing about the automation, because bringing the goods into our warehouse is super manual, but then all the other parts is fully automated.
Right. You have distribution centers that you're working with AutoStore?
Yeah.
Like the robots in the opening video is definitely actually how your distribution centers are working these days, right?
Yeah. I mean, we have, of course, like all others, needed to look at costs and think about how to get profitable, right? And there were basically three things we saw. There was, of course, the focus on automation and getting it out as fast as possible. And today we have one automated warehouse in Sweden supporting the full of Nordics. It's like a huge warehouse, like 20,000 square meters. There are these robots sorting everything out for us. And this, of course, was the turnkey for us to turn profitable. To that was, we needed to look at the marketing span. There were a few things we needed to dive into, but we really solved it. So we have actually managed to find a way to turn profitable.
That's great. You've sort of stolen my next question, which is about your 2022 impact report. Talked about your 3 goals for this year. Expand into Austria. Congratulations, that's done. Find a good food bank partner in the UK, and profitability, especially in the Nordics. So talk to me about so you are profitable in the Nordics now. Congrats on that as well. And talk to me about what else the future holds for Motatos, though.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I would like to emphasize that we are then profitable. We're food e-commerce profitable. So we're super proud about that.
It's a hard thing
what
to
else? I mean, we would, of course, like to continue together with our suppliers and customers to roll this concept out, in other markets and follow them wherever they are. And I mean, what we now know from the European rollout is that this problem exists everywhere. And we very much believe that this is a global problem and also an opportunity and something we very much would like to be a part of solving.
And that grocery shopping can be a fun, eccentric experience that you can save money while you're making the planet a little bit of a better, safer, more sustainable place. What more could you hope for?
No, exactly.
Karl, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking with you, and continued success.
Thank you.